It's a Boston Bruins playoff game day, and I am teeing up game 2 tonight against the Florida Panthers, which will be played with or without the captain, Patrice Bergeron. Let's get into it today on a new episode of Locked On Boston Bruins.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoked B. Today is Wednesday, April 19th, and I want to thank you so much for making Locked On Bruins part of your day every single day. The podcast is free and available wherever you get podcasts, including YouTube, so please do smash that subscribe button so that you never miss a thing. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. On today's episode, we're going to preview tonight's game against the Florida Panthers, discuss whether or not Patrice Bergeron will be in the lineup. I want to talk a bit more about the importance of Taylor Hall, and then we'll perhaps take a look around the league and talk about how the other series have started. I want to remind you that you can follow along on Twitter and Instagram at Locked NHL Bruins, and you can find me, my dad jokes, and hockey tweets at Ian C. McLaren. The big question heading into Game 2, of course, is whether or not Patrice Bergeron will suit up. He is feeling better, but remains questionable for tonight's game against the Panthers, according to head coach Jim Montgomery. That was declared on Tuesday. He didn't skate with the team during an optional practice yesterday, and of course, he was not on the ice for Game 1, a win over the Florida Panthers. His presence, though, was felt inside the dressing room. Bergeron was watching the game from the coach's office and provided feedback while in some sort of quarantine during Game 1. Pavel Zacha filled in for Bergeron on the top line, and he said, quote, "He's one of the best in the league, so it's great that he can give you tips even if he wasn't playing. He was there. He was talking to me when I had some questions. It's great to have him there," end quote. So it's nice to see that Bergeron was still active, still part of the game, able to be at the rink, and hopefully he's feeling better enough to come back and be in the lineup for Game 2. Jim Montgomery said, obviously, Bergeron's hockey IQ is off the charts. The team learns from the captain every game, even when he's not in the lineup. And again, he was in the coach's room on Monday night, picking his brain. What are you seeing? He's talking to the players about, again, what he's seeing, giving them some confidence. And he was a huge presence for the Bruins, even if he wasn't in the lineup. And again, ideally, he's on the ice playing for the Boston Bruins in the postseason. But if not, they'll be counting on Pavel Zacha to lock down the number one center role in his absence. Coming off a career-high 21 goals, 57 points, and he has earned his shot, according to head coach Jim Montgomery. Number one is how hard he competes with skill on the puck. Quote, "He wins a lot of battles for the Bruins. He kills a lot of plays. He protects pucks, makes plays." And for Montgomery, it's how hard he is with his skill and his ability on pucks. He wants to be first on pucks, and because of that, it helps build our team game, end quote. Zacha's confidence has grown throughout the season. I kind of thought he looked a bit shaky in Game 1. Talking to Mike McCauley yesterday, he didn't see that. but possible that there were some playoff nerves playing your first postseason game with the Boston Bruins and also going toe-to-toe with Aleksander Barkov. He admitted that there's many things he can get better at. Playoffs are here now, and he's trying to prove that he can be a playoff player, and it doesn't stop after one game. You always want to win the battle with whoever you're matched up with, and he relishes the opportunity to go toe-to-toe with Aleksander Barkov. So again, Patrice Bergeron, questionable for game 2. That was as of yesterday. Hopefully he got hydrated, got some rest, and he's able to be in the lineup tonight. And it won't be an easy task in game 2. I think the Bruins really benefited from Florida taking those early penalties in game 1. They were trying to set a physical tone, trying to mix it up. It backfired on them. They took 2 early penalties, one of which the Bruins capitalized on. And despite the fact that they outshot Boston, they couldn't really recover from that big start. It was an issue of quality versus quantity in terms of the shot count. On the Panthers talk show yesterday, the Bruins getting more quality opportunities on Alex Lyon, and actually he stopped those 2 2-on-1s against Trent Frederick that were created by Taylor Hall and let in that softie from Brad Marchand. That was kind of the difference. So I expect the Panthers to come out strong here once again, with or without Bergeron in the lineup. Head coach Paul Maurice said he wasn't committing to Alex Lyon for game 2, but I mean, based on the way he played, he didn't really lose his job as starter, except for that one goal against Brad Marchand that I'm sure he would love to have back. Now, key for the Bruins as well is their depth, and I'm going to talk about Taylor Hall a bit more here in a moment. But first, a quick word about today's sponsor, Gametime. Gametime is the ticket purchasing app that you want to have on your phone. Buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful, and Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. They have flash deals, last-minute ticket deals, easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. They provide image of seat views and the lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, and the like. Snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. Thank you so much again for making Locked On Bruins part of your day every day. Every dayers, tomorrow on the show, you can expect a full recap of Game 2 with a special guest. And don't forget to check out the Bruins Panthers Game 2. If you're not able to watch tonight's game, you can listen to it on Sirius XM, the SXM app. Hometown broadcast. Just search up Bruins Panthers and get that into your ear holes. Okay, so one of the advantages the Bruins have in the postseason is a Hart Trophy winner on the third line. The Bruins are so good, so deep, that they have a Hart Trophy winner playing down the lineup and not even getting power play time. For me, Taylor Hall was one of the better players for the Bruins in Game 1. He created a handful of chances, including a pair of 2-on-1 rushes with Trent Frederic. Frederic was denied by Alex Lyon on both attempts. And again, like I talked with Mike McCullough yesterday, you'd perhaps like to see Taylor Hall take that shot on the first one, shoot on the second one. But overall, you combine Hall's speed with his skill, and it creates mismatches. When you can have a guy that talented on the third line, then you're laughing. You're ahead of the game. Hall said that being able to return from his lower body injury in time to play a few regular season games helped him immensely, getting his pace back, the timing of the game, to get into those regular season games and make mistakes and put yourself in spots that you don't want to be in and correct those and have a few days to kind of look back on the video, make some corrections to my game. That was really valuable, Hall said, end quote. And the Bruins will indeed have to make some adjustments as a team heading into Game 2. But Taylor Hall on the third line, even Paul Maurice admitted it. He said there's no other team with a Hart Trophy winner playing in the 3-hole. That was 5 years ago, of course. Different player, different team, different situation. But Taylor Hall was without question one of their best players in Game 1, and we hope to see that continue in Game 2 because it just makes the Bruins that much better. And it creates just ridiculous matchup headaches for the Florida Panthers. If you can have 3 lines out there that can score, you match up Barkov with the top line, and then it just has a trickle-down effect, and you have fewer ways of disturbing Boston's attack. Now, the Bruins have to continue to keep Barkov at bay, which is no easy task. He was held without a shot in 19 minutes and 51 seconds of ice time in Game 1. The Bruins did a great job of suppressing their attack. They were, for the most part, able to tame Matthew Tkachuk, save for that misplay by Dmitry Orlov that led directly to that goal. Montgomery called him a hell of a hockey player. He competes all over the ice, gets to hard areas, and that's the thing that they look at. And that goal that he scored, you saw it. Gathered the puck, went backhand, forehand, past Allmark, and there's really no stopping that when he is playing at that high of a level. Got to cut down on the turnovers, play hard to the whistle, and the Bruins should be fine. But again, that third line deployment is key for the Boston Bruins. Panthers' third line, you have likes of, based on Game 1, Ryan Lomberg, Eric Stahl, Sam Reinhart. Reinhart's a very talented player. Lomberg, effective offensively. Stahl, obviously well past his prime. Charlie Coyle, Taylor Hall, and whoever's playing on that third line, be it Bertuzzi in the event that Bergeron comes back and Zacha's bumped to the second line, or perhaps Zacha himself. If Bergeron's able to come back and they put Zacha on the third line, they have to take advantage of that mismatch on the fourth line. On the third line. And then there's an even more trickle-down effect, as you could have Trent Frederic on the fourth line playing with Nosek, Hathaway, maybe Foligno comes out. Trent Frederic, a 17-goal scorer on the fourth line. I mean, you're laughing at that point. The Bruins have the depth to match up, not just match up, but to overtake, I believe, any team in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And that third line could very well make the difference. On any given night, the Bruins could have contributions up and down the lineup. And I expect an even better game from the likes of David Krejci in tonight's game. We didn't really see playoff Krejci in game one, but I expect a better effort up and down the lineup for the Bruins tonight. Again, they were outshot by the Panthers in game one. I thought at times Florida looked like the better team. The nerves are out of the way. The series lead has been gained. All the Bruins need to do is hold home ice advantage here, and they're laughing. Like I said on the preview podcast with Armando from Locked On Panthers, I see this as the Bruins take 2 at home, maybe drop 1 on the road, and then wrap things up in game 5. But ideally, they just keep their foot on the gas like they did down the stretch and just get this series done as quickly as possible. Stay fresh for what will be a battle in round 2, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, and beyond. And we'll look at what happened in the NHL last night. But first, I want to thank you once again for making Locked On Bruins part of your day every single day. Every dayers, again, tomorrow on the show, you will get a full recap of Game 2, as well as all the latest on the black and gold. And don't forget to listen to tonight's game on the SXM app if you're not able to watch on television. I'm very excited about tonight's game. I think it will be much stronger effort for the Boston Bruins from start to finish. And you look at what happened around the NHL last night. The Toronto Maple Leafs beat by the Tampa Bay Lightning on home ice by a score of 7-3. Only the Bruins and the Hurricanes won on home ice of all the first round playoff matchups. Winnipeg beat Vegas. The Rangers beat the Devils. Seattle beat Colorado. Then prior to that, the Kings beat the Oilers. Wild beat the Stars. Only the Bruins and Hurricanes were able to hold serve on home ice in game 1, and they will be at an even bigger advantage, of course, if they're able to win here tonight. And key to that will be whether or not Patrice Bergeron can play. He's feeling better, but remains questionable. This flu bug for the Bruins, whatever it is, it's been going around 10 days to 2 weeks. They've had guys like Jacob Lauko who lost 8 pounds when he had it. And it's not just shedding the bug, but it's getting your strength back. And Bergeron, of course, hasn't played since the first period of the Bruins' final game of the regular season 5 days ago. He hasn't taken part in practices, and we'll keep an eye out, of course, for today's morning skate. DeBrusk said you could tell how bad he wanted to be out there during game 1. Can't wait to get back in the mix. And one of those things where the Bruins want to do this for him. That was the main goal at the start of the year. Winning for Patrice, for David Krejci, for Brad Marchand, for Nick Foligno. Charlie McAvoy said they believe in one another. They believe that whoever is in the lineup, they're going to help pull the rope. Tyler Bertuzzi, I should add, talked about his stick incident with Nick Cousins the other night, grabbing the stick, bringing it with him onto the bench, attempting to break it. He said stupid things happen in the playoffs, and he's just out there trying to create some havoc, and he did that successfully. And I am very excited to see the continued evolution of Tyler Bertuzzi as a playoff Boston Bruin. Game 2, tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Obviously, it'll be on TV. You can check it out on the SXM app as well. And I am very excited to see the Bruins come out and be a lot sharper, more aggressive, and asserting their dominance against a very beatable Florida Panthers team. They're not going to go down lightly. We saw Alex Lyon step up. We saw what Matthew Tkachuk can do. Aleksander Barkov won't stay quiet for the entire series. But with Bergeron hopefully back in the mix, that will just have a trickle-down effect on the lineup. And, I mean, at this point, I'm not super worried, knock on wood, about the Florida Panthers. And we'll see what happens in the other series between Toronto and Tampa Bay, one in which the Leafs could be without Michael Bunting for a few games after he was ejected for a hit to the head on Eric Cernak. Cernak and Victor Hedman both left with injuries last night, so that could be huge for the Lightning. That has the look of a long, grueling series. I don't want to look too far ahead again, but if the Bruins say were to beat Florida in 5 games, that one goes 7. Could have a good chunk of time that the Bruins are off. You always have the fear of them losing steam, but with this illness going around, it would be good to get some days off so these guys can get their strength back heading into round 2. Again, not trying to jinx anything, but if the Bruins don't pull off this series against the Florida Panthers, especially after winning game 1, then something has gone horribly wrong. Stay tuned to Locked On Boston Bruins on YouTube. If Patrice Bergeron is indeed in, I'll post up a breaking news video there. And you're going to want to subscribe to Locked On Boston Bruins to keep on top of all the latest when it comes to the black and gold here through what we hope will be a very long playoff run. Key takeaways for tonight: Bergeron questionable. Bruins have a Hart Trophy winner on the third line. Looked very good in game 1, and we hope that continues because that depth wins championships, folks. You need high quality players up and down the lineup, and the Bruins have that in spades up front, on the blue line, and in net. Ullmark, I think, still looked a bit not fully 100% health-wise in terms of this bug that's been going around. Hopefully he got some fluids and is fully back for tonight as well. All right, folks, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go Bruins tonight. Follow along on Twitter at Locked NHL Bruins, at ENC McLaren, and we'll be back tomorrow to recap what we hope will be a Game 2 win here on Locked On Boston Bruins, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every single day. Take care, friends. Take care of yourselves. Talk to you again tomorrow.